Well, welcome to Speaking of Horses. I'm your host, Wayne Williams, and we're ready to go right here with some of the great stories from the horse industry. So join us as we get ready to go Speaking of Horses right here on this station. Hey, Wayne Williams, we're here in the beautiful Danville, Indiana. We're near Indianapolis for the Hoosier Horse Fair, and Donna Scabrud is my guest. Now, you have a program about kind of open horse shows for everybody. Tell us a little bit about the program and how this works so the novice can have a place to go do their thing.
Indiana Saddle Horse Association, ISHA, has been around since 1933. Right now, our program has evolved a bit over the years, and this year we have begun a beginner's program. We have a number of horse classes for kids or adults who have just begun riding, and we're giving them a place to start, get their feet wet in the show ring. It's divided up by age and pleasure and equitation. Walk trot and walk trot canter as well. Pleasure classes and equitation classes.
The main thing is you've got a full show bill, and you're doing this so that a lot of people who are novice, want to get started, don't want to feel the pressure of the breed-specific, breed-dominated, show. They just want to get their feet wet and learn how to do it and have fun doing it.
Exactly.
And that's what this is about.
Right. We have up to 28 different breeds of horses at one show. So we have classes for mated horses, English, Huntsy, Western, stock horses, some breed-specific classes as well. So we have horses that are competing in breed classes and with other horses of other breeds and disciplines, and it's just fun watching all the different people compete and learn from one another and have it in a very low-key environment, family-friendly. We like 4-H kids.
Family-friendly and very inexpensive.
Yes, $7 for a class, $40 for the weekend for a stall, and you have plenty of time to ride prior to the shows, get your horse acclimated to the place, and just relax.
Just have fun.
Yes.
Now, your holy shows at the Hoosier Horse Park, which is the old Camp Atterbury, right?
Yes, in Edinburgh, Indiana.
Down Edinburgh, just north of Columbus a little ways.
Yes.
So it's a very user-friendly area, but the beauty of it is there are people that don't have the most high-powered horse or have the big breed, or what they want to do is learn. They don't want to spend tons of money. This is a place for them to go show their horse, and let's face it, the whole idea behind horses is to have fun.
That's right.
That's the idea, and that's where most of the people are. You can look at like AQHA, and they will tell you that only about 10 to 15% of their membership goes to the show.
Right.
Which means 85 to 90% of their members are just out on the trails or whatever, having fun with their horse.
Right.
This gives you a chance to go show and do it inexpensively and fun.
That's right. That's right. No pressure. We don't expect you to have the bling outfits or expensive clothes. You just need to be properly fitted for the type of discipline that you're showing.
Don't worry about coming and being outclassed. Just bring your horse and have a good time.
That's right.
That's it.
Yes.
So, how do people contact you?
We are on the web. It's indianasaddlehorse.org. And we have a Facebook, Indiana Saddle Horse. Show bills are on the Facebook page and on the website. You can contact me. My name is on the and phone number is on the show bills on the website, and I'd be glad to help. Any questions that you have, reserve stalls at the shows, and anything.
Well, the bottom line, come down to the Hoosier Horse Park, take advantage of one of the shows, just have a good time. And above all, you got a horse, enjoy your horse.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You stay with us. We're at the Hoosier Horse Fair, Speaking of Horses. Hey, we at Speaking of Horses invite you to join us as we bring you many, many programs over the next few months, from retired racehorse makeover programs to horse rescue operations, to therapeutic riding operations. Anything that benefits the horse, the rider, any discipline, any wonderful project. So we want you to join us right here on Speaking of Horses. We got some really good stuff coming up. And of course, you can always check out all of the other stuff we do, video as well, at speakingofhorses.com on our website. In the meantime, thanks for joining us here on this radio station. And we're going to bring you a lot more of Speaking of Horses. Well, hey, we're Speaking of Horses. We are here at the Hoosier Horse Fair, actually Danville, Indiana now, just outside Indianapolis. Nice new location, the 2019 Horse Fair. My guest right now, a gentleman I've run into for, well, I haven't heard him, but I mean, I've run into him for many years at horse fairs and out of Ohio. Great trainer, does a lot of great clinics. Terry Meyer. Terry, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Wayne.
Well, you've been doing clinics here. What's new in the world of Terry Myers?
Well, what's new? I don't know. I still just play a lot. I keep learning more every day and teaching the people, and we've just kind of been having fun.
Yeah. Now, you do clinics on a lot of different subjects. Actually, you just finished a lecture on bits, I believe,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So, but you do a lot of general training.
Yes.
So you get into a lot of areas. So, what's kind of the hot topics right now?
The hot topic is the ranch horse. The ranch horse is more versatile. They're doing more different events. They're getting away from the specialization like they have in the Western pleasure horses and the reining and cutting. You can take a horse and have fun like we used to back when I was a kid. I won't go and say how long ago that's been, but it's been a long time ago. So, I mean, so the ranch horse is what's really picking up now. We have a barn full of horses. People just want to get ready for the ranch horse. And we're taking pleasure horses that aren't, I have pleasure horses in the barn right now that aren't good enough to make the pleasure ring. And so we're going to make a ranch horse out of them. We can do something with them.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people today, you know, there was that period when everybody wanted to see the round pen reasoner, the round pen trainer. This is how you bring these horses along from scratch. And that got to be such a competition. But eventually, I think the people said, okay, 90% of the people watching that are never going to start a colt.
Right.
They're just watching how it's done. All of a sudden, they wanted to get into this stuff where they can participate. Now they want to learn, how do I get my... You know, coming to these horse fairs now, you want to do the things like ranch horse, where the average person could come. You don't have to have the top trainer. You don't have to have the big silver show saddle or anything. You can come and participate more to grassroots level.
Right, yes. And it's getting to the point, there's different associations around, like in this area there's ARHA, and the Indiana chapter is probably one of the largest chapters in the ARHA association.
Yeah. Well, it's just fun, and I know I was just thinking back. I remember the first time I met you. Now
it was in Louisville.
It was in Louisville at Equitana, and we had put together a 45-horse drill team to open the Equitana main event. And they came to me a day or so ahead of time and said, "Oh, by the way, we've got one more guy that's going to come in on a paint and present the colors." So we worked out a way to get this guy to come in, and that guy was you.
Yes, sir, it was.
And we had 45 horses lined up, and then you came right down the middle.
Right in the gate.
Right in the gate, yep. And so that was the first time I saw you. And they came to me and said, "We got this chowderhead on a paint going to come in with a flag."
And that's been a long time ago, Wayne.
That's been 24 or 5 years ago, yes. Yeah. More years than I would care to mention, but that's the way it goes.
And you were Roy Rogers.
I was actually Elvis in that thing there.
Okay.
Well, I've done Roy with my Palomino, but they actually, this gal brought all these costumes. Well, we were in our drill team outfits for the opening.
Right.
Then we came back in the closing, and we did. This gal brought all these costumes from Hollywood, and she brought me Elvis.
Okay.
I had on the white suit and that wig and the glasses and the cape, and you know what? That was polyester. I couldn't stick the saddle. I was sliding all over in that thing. I said, "This is not built to ride in," I'm telling you.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, Terry, how do people get a hold of you?
We have a website, tmtrainingcenter.com, or they can look us up on Facebook, Terry Myers Training Center.
And you're in Central Ohio.
We're in Central Ohio. We're northwest of Columbus, between Marysville, Ohio, and Delaware, Ohio, right in the middle on State Route 36.
And you do some great work.
Thank you, Wayne.
Terry, thank you.
Thank you.
You stay with us. We're here at the Hoosier Horse Fair, here on Speaking of Horses. Hey, Wayne Williams, Speaking of Horses. We're at the Hoosier Horse Fair, 41st Hoosier Horse Fair. Yes, sir. We're in Danville, Indiana, just outside Indianapolis. It's a new location. The facility here at this, it's a county fairgrounds, but it is amazing. And Vic Boyer is my guest. Now, Vic is co-chair for the Horse Fair. Yep. And how's it going?
It's going great. We moved to this facility this year. It's a facility that was built about 10 years ago. They spent $25 million in building it, and it is superior for our horse fair. Really working out great.
Well, there's a lot of great covered arenas. So you got barns, covered arenas. You got nice indoor vendor areas. I mean, it's a nice sprawling county fairgrounds. It's not what you expect from a county fairgrounds.
It is.
They did a great job with this.
They did, and they took all the input from the community, which is a large horse community. It's the second largest in Indiana, just right north of us in Hamilton County. It's the largest population of horses, and basically we're right in the middle of it, and the community has welcomed us with open arms.
And yesterday, which was Saturday, it was a little rainy, but I think that worked to your advantage. You had a fantastic crowd yesterday, and I think it was one of those deals where it's a little rainy, it's a little cool. We're not going to do anything outside ourselves. We're going to come to the horse fair.
And that's exactly when I talked to people, they basically said, hey, we knew the horse fair was coming around, and it was this weekend, and when they had the rain didn't hurt us, it helped us.
And you know what? You moved your weekend. You moved from early April to early May.
We did.
You changed facilities, and I think the facility's going to work out, and I really think the date change is going to help you too, because there was so much crammed in here in other areas around April. You guys started overlapping with Ohio and Madison, Wisconsin, and it was just kind of a mess. It was hard for the vendors. It was hard on you guys.
Yes.
This, I think, is great. So my congratulations to you guys, Vic.
Well, thanks, Wayne. Thank you for supporting the horse industry for many, many, many years.
I've been coming to the Hoosier for years. Actually, years ago, when a gentleman by the name of John Clough helped manage it, I was an announcer at the Coliseum for this. So I've been coming here for years. I'm from here. I'm originally from right here in this county.
Right here in this county. Yes, right back home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it.
You keep staying with us here, because we're going around the Hoosier Horse Fair 2019 right here on Speaking of Horses.
Thanks, folks.
Well, that's our show. I'm your host, Wayne Williams. Speaking of Horses, we'll be back next week with a brand new show. Or join us at speakingofhorses.com.